start recording. I forgot to do that in case you want to look at anything. So I'm sharing screen again. I'm just recording this. Yeah, so first thing we do is look at forexfactory.com to have a look at the red flag news. Yeah. And this window up here, your sessions timer, tells you I'm on Paris time, that Tokyo is going to start at 1 a.m. London ends at 5 p.m. 6 p.m. my time. Yeah. And New York is ending at 11 p.m. Yes. Paris time. So that you will find this window right at the bottom of the screen, and yes. You just click on this arrow top of page and keep clicking it up the sections, and it'll bring it up here.
Yeah, I mean, how madly do you go over the news? You just say you don't trade an hour either side.
Well, I trade sometimes about half an hour up to and after the news. Yeah. But for new people, we tend to say steer clear of it an hour either side because the market needs to settle down again.
Right, right.
And there are some big dates to avoid, like non-farm payroll is the biggest monthly event for the US dollar at the end of each month. It sometimes slips to the following Friday, the first of the month. But that, because what happens, because the big boys move the markets, yes. They buy to sell and sell to buy, that even if the news is nothing very impactful and the figures aren't very impactful, they will hide their wish to spike the market either way because they're collecting up money off people on stop losses.
Yes.
So they're trying to hoover up money. So
it's so horribly bent, isn't it?
Yes, but we can manipulate it to our favor.
Yes, I see that.
What was I looking at today that would give you a good example? I can't remember which one it was. It might have been forgotten now. So when we're looking at the sessions, this is actually all JPY, and Japanese yen is on holiday today, bank holiday. We look at the hot pairs. So if you look at how Tokyo's the smallest session out of the three, generally it will only move. Oh, was it Euro USD I had marked up actually, and I've taken the markup off. I'll come back to Euro USD actually rather than do all JPY. Yeah. So because it's the biggest one. So you can see this big move here. I don't know what's caused that, but yes. The market now, number one, it wants to rest. Price on any pair will want to rest in between a move. Yes. And then obviously you can see it wants to balance itself out. It's what Les Gallagher calls imbalance. So, you can see, because this is the current momentum in the market. So you can see it wants to come down. Whilst we don't aim to predict the market, which obviously would get us into trouble trading. Yes. So your biggest session is London. And normally what happens on any pair in London will reverse itself after 2 p.m. UK time, generally speaking. It's called the New York reversal. So if price has been buying in London, it will generally want to sell in New York.
Whatever happens in London market.
Whatever happens in London will be reversed in New York, normally speaking.
Whatever happens in, I just want to keep my eye on it and see if there's any kind of, what happens in London
will normally reverse in New York. So at 3 p.m. my time, which is 2 p.m., New York normally moves. Settings, clone that.
So if you're saying the euro goes up against the dollar, we're likely to see it go down in New York?
Correct. And furthermore, 3 o'clock till 2 till 5, sorry. So New York, generally, its bigger moves will be 2 till 5, 2 till 4 your time, sorry, just 3 till 5 my time. And then I traded this live.
It's going to get these times down, Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I traded this hour, 1 p.m. till 2 p.m. your time, every day, Monday to Friday for 6 months. And I can tell you that that's a kind of a setting up zone, a consolidation zone. I don't now normally bother trading in this lunchtime session. I'll wait till about 2 p.m. Now, sometimes moves come a little bit earlier, and also they might not be exact. So I've said it comes up and it'll go down. Well, you can see it started to go down already. So, don't turn around to me and say, Sarah, you said it'll move at 2 p.m. Because sometimes, the market is the market. I can only give you general indications. So
I understand.
Yeah, so let's come back to our hot pairs. So when we are looking at getting the best out of the market, then Tokyo normally only moves a range of 20, maybe a maximum of 50 pips. It's the smallest traded market. And sometimes...
So it moves how much? 20 pips?
20 to 50 pips. And look, you can see it on Euro USD, which obviously is not a hot pair. Tokyo is when the Western world is all asleep. Can you see it? Price will always want to suck along the 62. It'll always want to rest along that line. And that's what it's doing. It did in Tokyo. Just stay.
62 EMA?
Yes, the current trend in the market, this one.
Yes.
That's your 62.
Yeah.
The 1 minute one, the current momentum in the market, the orange one. So sometimes just before London opens at 8 a.m. your time, you'll get a little fake out. Because again, the market likes to do that to us. You can sometimes bag some pips. It's a bit slower in the winter. The fourth quarter is more difficult. But if we take 7 a.m., you can sometimes, if there was a pitchfork there, you might have got a nice little drop because it's called expansion. That's only 10 pips.
Yes.
As the market, because it's just the banks have been ticking over, buying and selling in between them. Then as Germany comes online, because remember, Germany's opening, Tokyo's closing, London's opening. So you get this expansion in the market across the pairs.
Yes.
And then you'll get your moves after the hour. So the other thing is, and we'll just come on to the currency pairs. The other thing is 10 minutes before the hour, on any hour, you'll often get a fake out the opposite way because the brokers
What do you call it? A fake out?
A fake out. The brokers will push the price the opposite way that they want it to go, the banks, because they want to make you think you've made the wrong decision.
Bastards, aren't they?
10 minutes before the hour to the hour. And I've learnt that the hard way, not to enter a trade 10 minutes before the hour, up until the hour. In any hour.
10 minutes before
the hour.
Sorry for being slow. Before the hour.
No, that's fine.
Every hour.
Every hour, you often get a fake out the opposite way. So do not enter a trade at that time. It's in the rule book I've written, I think all this is in the rule book. Yeah. So now if we come on to the hot pairs, if you're trading Tokyo.
Wrong way. So let me cut that off. If in that fake out, wherever you see that going in the last 10 minutes of the market, it was to say it will go the other way.
Yes. Having been said, 10 minutes before the hour here, it went up and then it carried on going up. So again, don't say to me, oh, Sarah, but you said it always goes the other way.
Yeah, listen, I'm not like that. I'm not like that, but it's an interesting.
Actually, it did drop quite a bit before, but the very 10 minutes there, it did start to go up. But it's just where the 15-minute is.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So the hot pairs for your Tokyo session are
hot pairs for Tokyo.
Yeah, will be ordered.
Does each session have each session, like New York, have a certain set of pairs?
Yes.
Hot pairs Tokyo. Wait there.
Will be AUD,
AUD,
NZD and JPY.
NZD, JPY. Yeah.
Hot pairs for London will be your Euro, GBP and CHF, which is your Swiss franc.
Euro, GBP and CHF.
Swiss franc.
Why are they so popular?
I know I don't like the CHF. It's too slow for me.
Is it?
Drives me nuts. Euro and GBP I like. Text New York session will be USD and CAD, Canadian dollar.
New York, 2 seconds. is where? USD?
And CAD. I can take a screen grab of this for you. I'll just put...
But when you say that's New York, that's USD, the hot pair. So any pairs with any pair with a USD or a CAD in it?
Yeah, because it's where the sun's up. It's where life is taking place, where the local currency is being traded, if you think about it.
Right, okay.
That's why. So I always start with the hot pairs. You can trade any pair with this strategy, and I know chance rattles through the whole lot, but I like to, and I'll put the New York session there. So I can do a screen grab of that for you. I can write another note here. Do not enter a trade 10 mins up until the hour.
And is that the same for all markets then?
Yes. And text, I'll put biggest traded session. So, and then we'll just text there. Second biggest traded session. And here put smallest session normally 50 pips over 8 hours, because all this is everything is just patterns.
Yes.
So now we've looked at that. In London, you're fast. If you think of, if you get the pro version of TradingView, you can create a watch list down here, and we use this as a currency strength meter. So I do look at it. So for example, I'll want the euros to move opposite to the GBPs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can see now they're all green. So both the euro and the GBPs are buying, which probably might be the COVID vaccine announcement. I don't know. So that will make me, that confuses me a bit, because I'm used to them moving opposite directions. And I know generally if the euros are buying, the GBP will be selling. So anyway, we use that as a currency strength meter. I can see here in red, the euro, it's the back end that drives the pair. So the euro is selling against the GBP. The base currency is the GBP. It's the back end that drives the pair. When you're working on Forex, you need to have your myfxbook.com. Do you know that one?
I've seen it, yes. I've just started using it.
Oh, good. Okay. And you can link your account to it so you can track your progress. So that will help you work out your lot sizes at the beginning of the week. So, so back to the speed of pairs, there are 5 very fast pairs, which if you want to sort of like avoid getting the shock of your life, you might want to not start with these. And generally they are GBP pairs, except sorry, I'm going to write them down for you, except for GBP USD and GBP Chef. So GBP JPY, these are this is I'll put 10 out of 10 pairs need 15 pip stop loss. GBP JPY, GBP AUD, GBP GN, NZD, which is the wildest pair in the market.
Right.
Most of us very rarely trade it because it can just whack you in the face time and time again. Equally, it'll give you 150 pips, but it's dangerous.
Yes.
Wildest pair in the market. GAGN, Euro NZD. This is chances, this is the only one he says he gets greedy on. He loves this pair, so I get greedy on it as well. I love that because he loves it.
Right.
And Euro, AUD, and there's one more which is GBP, CAD, Canadian dollar. So that's actually gives you 6. But GJ, you need the perfect setup in order to take it.
Right.
It's bitten me a few times. It's like a dog. You like it, but it's bitten you a couple of times. You're slightly wary of it. So those are your 5 fastest pairs. So if you're new, you might want to just sort of think to yourself, you know, I might avoid those to start with.
Yeah.
So medium pairs. It's all right. I can send you this picture. So medium pairs that you might like to try would be AUD CAD.
Yeah.
And they love that on the HFX as well. It trends very nicely and it moves at a speed of about 4 out of 10.
Right. This is super information, Sarah.
You're very welcome. Trends very nicely. And I'm just trying to think of AUD CAD. CAD JPY. Sam likes this one. It's Chance's wife.
Right.
CAD JPY. She says trend. I don't know that one so well. Trends very nicely. That I don't know what I'm going to do. That's a 5 out of 10. Those are 8s. Euro, usually, here's another one. Euro USD is a 5 out of 10 and trends very nicely.
Right.
So all these are like mid-range. Those are all fast. Those are very, very slow. USD. I think those ones. Small spread. I think those ones, but I'll put down Euro NZD. I'll just say, remember it's fast. Because we do like that one.
What was the other one? GBP NZD?
GN, I wouldn't go anywhere near that.
Right. Are all of the NZD jobs fast then?
That's a good question. I don't think I've been I'm going to put against that avoid.
Well, there's 2 of them that you're saying are fast.
I've put avoid.
I've got this thing
against
about patterns, Sarah.
Right, the NZD ones. No, except AUD NZD. They're very similar currencies, remember? Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. I've got a note, it's very wiki. So we don't, if things are very wiki, they can catch you out a lot. Any other NZD? Well, you've got NZD Chef, but that only moves to 2 out of 10. It's what you call a Forex minor. It's a cross. So I don't trade that at all.
Right.
NZD JPY is a 5 out of 10. I've never bothered to trade it. I'm sure Chance trades that one as well. Actually, it's just not one that I know, but that'd probably be all right. NZD JPY.
NZD JPY.
Connor might be able to comment on that.
To be honest, I don't suppose it matters. You know, when you're drawing scans up, I don't suppose it matters when you're. It doesn't matter what graph you're drawing them up on. And now the next question, Darren was confusing me a little bit about shark scans and bat scans and.
Yes, yeah.
What's your take on that?
Shark. Oh, look at that drop off the face of the earth. Look at this.
What was that?
Euro's just gone tanked.
Holy cow.
Nearly 50 pips.
Oh, man.
Sharks have a different entry point. Sharks, the D point can move. It redraws a lot. So you have to wait for the second entry point or for it to be at 50% to take profit 1.
All right, so that's why you say just steer clear of it. Because the other 20
Well, we don't steer clear of sharks. We just wait till they conform to the confirmations.
Oh, I see, right. Because the other one's 20 pips confirmation, is that right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Right, here's these notes from that. So if I come back onto the scanner, because actually I was looking at that on or JPY, which is a shark scan.
Right.
If I come to strategies, you just find where it is.
And next question as well, what I asked Darren, you see on here where you've got the take profit entries and
Yes.
1, 2, 3s. Do you copy that as well?
No.
No.
No. They're there as a free trade if you want them. They're based on bigger stop losses with longer time frames. So we don't bother with it at all on this strategy. 1927 round about there to entry point 1925. Actually, that's only a 20 pip stop loss, to be fair, but it is a shark. So this is a shark. Make sure, as you know, your time zone is your local time zone at the bottom down here. For some reason, mine's not. You have to have that on your local time zone. For some reason, either my machine's slower, but it's not changing. It should bring up a drop down. Measure your C to D.
C to D, yeah.
That's 157.8 because we don't count that little pipette at the end.
The little one, yeah.
That's the bit to the right of the decimal point.
That's the bit that was bamboozling me a little bit, but I got to not worry about it.
You can see that the shark has 2 entry points.
Yes.
So at a minimum, we do not enter a shark trade and consider that D point solidified until price is at the second entry point or at 50% between the second entry and take profit 1 or at take profit 1.
Yeah, on the shark scan only.
On the shark scan only. That's the only one that has 2 entry points. So that's 1 point.
You know, Sarah, I'm going to steer clear of them shark ones for now. Because one thing I liked about what you said is you were quite staunch. I'm sure it was you. It might have been Kaya, but I'm sure it was you who said something that you don't enter them until they're nearly perfect. You know, you don't
with a shark, yes, because this D point, my thing's frozen, but this D point, oh, there we are. It can move. The shark can carry on going up.
Right.
Because all this pattern is the C to D. It's called the long extension leg off the 88.6, and it's to do with something called the Elliott wave. So an Elliott wave is 1, 2, 3. Let me think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 7. An Elliott wave can be 3 to 5 or 5 to 7. I think I forget how it goes, but an Elliott wave is always this. Where's the brush? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it can also be a 6 and a 7.
I'm sure I heard Chance talking about this.
That's right. So on sharks, that D point can slip, and I presume it's because it's to do with the angle of the actual scan. If you do go through the FRX Academy and get to the 400 series, Christopher Terry does a deep dive into the different patterns and the angles that each pattern is based on. But quite frankly, we don't need to know any of that. Right. It's very hard to spot when you're in a trade that you're actually in the Elliott wave till it's finished, but that's what it's based on.
Right, got you.
And then it goes obviously down the other way.
Yes.
But that's all you need to bear in mind about the shark is your entry point.
Okay.
So back to
the shark is I suppose that's the easiest thing to remember, that isn't it? Shark scan.
I'm sure it's in that rule book I've written. Shark scan, yeah. Certainly the shark scan, second entry. And normally when I post scans, I will draw a pink ray and put 50% TP1 to show people where price is on that particular one. So when you're looking at pairs to trade, ORCAD, you would want to look at that in either Tokyo or New York. CAD JPY, New York and Asian. Euro USD, you could look at in London and New York, and Euro NZD, London and Tokyo. And that's obviously just a Tokyo pair, but you can trade all these currencies all day, depending on where the pitchforks are. So I just like to start with the hot pairs, and the faster the pair, the more pips you can gain. So something like GCAD, a 10 out of 10, will in normal times, because the market is also seasonal, you'll get more scans in the spring and summer. In the fourth quarter that we're in now, it's slower. You get fewer scans until about mid-Feb. You've got to wring those pips out, which is why, as Chance says, don't let yourself get stop profited out. You could be leaving 40 pips on the table. But in normal times, a pair like EN, you don't get an EN just to do 10 or 20 pips. But if you're in Euro GBP, 20 pips might probably be about the maximum, or ORCAD. But GCAD, you can easily get 50, 60 pips. The fast pairs move faster, clearly. And they're more volatile, which is why you need to have a 15 pip stop loss on them. Now, I haven't done any pitchforks today because no alarms have gone off. So I'll just see if I can find one set up for you to have a look at, but they've all been moving in. Wow, that's all dropping everywhere. They've all been moving the opposite way.
Could you just explain to me what I keep seeing Oanda, and I think I've seen somebody else?
Oh yeah, you want your feed to be nearest to your broker feed. You can use any of them off the scanner, whichever broker you've got. Any of these. I've got JFEX, and I've got Oanda, and I've got Pepperstone.
So I've got Oanda. Markets, you see. Does that matter?
You've got what? No, I see market. I've got different regulations over here in the EU. I see markets and FX choice are very popular choices in the UK. It's just with JFEX, I can have a leverage of 1 to 500. Whereas when I was with Pepperstone, I do like CTrader as a platform, but I've gone back to MT4 because I was only getting 1 to 30 on Forex majors and 1 to 20 on Forex crosses. So it was limiting the number of trades I could get in. And I've just shoved everything, my money, back into the JFEX account and gone back to where I started on MT4. So if you look at the so as it's Monday, pip ranges are also seasonal. If you think about the year as your 4 quarters, and you get bigger pip ranges Tuesday to Thursday. The close of the candle on a Monday and the open of it on a Tuesday, this is banker strategy, which Les knows extremely well, will dictate the range of that pair for the week. Monday, the markets are settling down, and Fridays, they're all buggering off for the weekend. So Tuesdays to Thursdays are if you type into Google or look at Investopedia pip ranges, you'll see different pip ranges against each pair. So I think this context myself is extremely important.
So bigger pip movement Tuesday, Wednesday to Thursday.
Yes, so I've refined my trading to fewer pairs, fewer trades, and Tuesday to Thursday only. Because I found I was trading all day, every day. I'm still a bit addicted, and I do overtrade. Sometimes I have to watch myself. And I was getting very stiff and tired because I do the teaching and the marketing as well, which I really love. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. And I thought, this is ridiculous. I'm making money in London and I'm giving it back in New York. And it was purely because I kept thinking, oh, great, I've made 70 quid. I've done 100. I've done 50. I'll see if I can do some more. Well, the market doesn't work like that. As Chance said, it's the only place as a job where you will get paid less the more hours you put in. Success with trading is to do with focused intensity for less time once you've got that computer brain programmed. And I can tell you, I've learnt the hard way, and that is exactly what it's about. So I had a beautiful morning trading. I've actually done HFX this morning because none of my alerts went off, and I don't know if Connor's done anything this morning, and it's Monday. So I've done some stuff on HFX, and I was in the zone, quiet, intense, focused, enjoying it. You've got to be in the right mood for it. And I'm getting on a lot better with my money as a result. And in the past, I'd just be like, oh, whatever, and keep pressing buttons, and oh, I'll have another one, and The market doesn't work like that. It's
Yeah.
a beautiful thing, and the pattern is wonderful, but you have to kind of just get in the zone with it.
Yes.
Get your strategy set up.
How long do you spend drawing up your scans?
Well, I do them mostly on a Sunday night. There are fewer scans this time of year, so an hour or two on a Sunday night. Otherwise, we tend to chat amongst ourselves and post it in the group, or I might have a look late at night or first thing in the morning to see if there's something I've missed. So not that long, and to draw them up you get very quick at doing it. I can tell you, it is, as Chance said, it is a bit of a bore, but it's something we have to do. It pays us handsomely to do it.
Yeah.
I was just trying to find an actual setup that USD CAD I haven't looked at, just to see if there was something to show you. Let's have a look at CAD JPY then, or JPY's on holiday. But no. 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 Nothing there.
What are you on here? This is HFX now, isn't it?
That was, yeah. I didn't do Bitcoin. That's from yesterday. I was doing I did 4 or 5 currency trades this morning.
Right.
Well, just for the sake of showing you an example. So this is actually an old pitchfork. So I can see I faded it out.
Yeah, now Chance said something about that they can come back into play several years later even.
Yeah, exactly. That's the beauty. That's why it's worth being fiddly down at the 1 minute, because it'll come back in. So the only thing that I would say about this is I don't know why that D point is there, because sometimes we have a discussion about whether to move them higher up, but we do generally try and leave them where the scan has put them. Now that's the 13th of November.
Right, yeah, so
yeah, it's an ongoing debate, but we'll have a look and just check it, because that sort of thing you get your eye in sort of thinking, oh, is that still okay? So
yeah.
USD CAD.
I suppose it's where the scan's drawn right there now. If you look at that, it's where it's drawn now, and it's probably gone a bit higher later, but that's where the harmonic lives, I suppose.
Whoops.
Maybe.
Well, oddly enough, the one that's come up is a shark, so it may well have moved. And that's gone a very weird shape. So in that case, I'll just check, see if I can find it on the H1 USD CAD shark. So that's come up quite clearly. So that's the one we're looking at. It is a shark, and I told you the D point can move, and sure enough, the D point now. I need to put it on my. For some reason, that the time won't change on there, but I should be UTC +1. So I'll take the highest point there, which is, that says 29th of October at 1500.
Yeah.
Check USD CAD H1. X point is 7th of October at 4. So hourly. That's a different one altogether, because that's the 6th of November at 5. But I can't see it. I can't see it higher up. Oh, Gartley. Maybe it's that one. No, and that's gone a bit weird. It starts
getting a bit confusing to me what they're all.
Well, I never bother about the names. I couldn't care less about them.
You don't, myself. Right? Okay.
But some people say, to be fair, some people say, "Oh, I love Gartley," you know. But I mean. Yeah,
maybe because it's worked in the past or something.
No, I think it's to do with the actual angles and the patterns.
Oh, I see. Right.
USD CAD. H1.
I mean, if it's worked for you in the past at Gartley, you're more inclined to like it, aren't you, I suppose? If you've ever won big on it.
Yeah, not that I'd ever remember. I'm just seeing. That's right down there. It's not that one. Okay, so what I'm going to do, may as well correct it while we're here. So H1, take off the locks. Oh, I've got that green one. Hang on, I can use the green one. Let me see where the green one is.
Yeah, how do you get back to find out if you see another pitchfork line then? How would you go back to find out the route of that pitchfork?
Well, you've got it. That's why you're drawing them. You've got it in your library.
Yeah.
Not that one. You've got it on your trading view, and that's why we draw them.
Yeah.
So that's the one we're looking at. 7th of October at 4, up to there.
Yeah.
Which is the 29th at 1500.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So that's the one we're using. So I faded out the white one. I'm going to fade out. I'll just hide this stuff. It's still on your object tree.
Yes.
Hide that. So now we've got that. Let's go down to the 1 minute, just to show you how we would analyze a trade. So I'm in New York, USD CAD. So Tokyo, from the open of Tokyo to the open of London.
That's really handy, that chart at the top, isn't it?
Oh, I really love it. You can probably find something similar if that one isn't still available. Just type in sessions timer, or I'll help you find one. So
sessions timer.
Yeah, so that only moved 15 pips for 8 hours in the whole of Tokyo. Okay.
Oh, no. That's nothing, is it?
7.5 hours exactly. So bearing in mind that they're both New York session pairs, not Tokyo, and Japanese bank holiday today, so that there's no trading in Japan. Then the market expanded and it dropped down probably about 25 pips, and it hugged along quarter theory for the whole of London. And then just past noon, that's the hourly candle, it's gone up. And then you've got the Tokyo the New York crossover, and then at 2 o'clock, which is 3 o'clock your time, it starts to take off. So have you got a trade here? Well, this is a bit of a difficult one because we like it with our confirmations all together. So you'd have a 10 pip stop loss, 20 pips. So that's a bit difficult because although you've got your oranges crossed above your blue for a buy, which is in your red box, you've got a pitchfork touch, but you didn't get a pitchfork. You didn't get a no retest, no entry is one of our favorite sayings, Christopher Derrick. No retest, no entry.
No retest, no entry. Just define retest for me, Sarah.
It's exactly what the candle is doing here.
No retest.
So it's already moved 16 pips. It might give us another entry. So it's coming back down at the moment.
Yeah.
So break, retest, back to test the pitchfork and the 62, which is why you want your 62 coming up on a strong momentum. So you've got one confirmation for a buy. Second confirmation, which is mandatory, is our pitchfork touch. But we need another confirmation in order to be able to take this trade, which would be a 1 minute trend line break for a reversal, or a channel touch for a continuation trade. And what do I mean by channel touch? I mean this. Sam likes to trade this, Chance's wife, but I don't usually trade channel, but it's just a different way of looking at it, but it's just what you get used to. So this is a channel. So stall out all along quarter theory.
Where did you pass that? Where did you find that tool then, Sarah, please?
Up here, where on this one, on this drop down, the second one down. Down here, parallel channel.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to star that as a favorite because I do like to use it. So so price stalled out, came up, then it's only got up to the median, and then it takes off here, break and retest up to there. So actually that was where it gave us our break and our retest here, and it gave it to us 7.5. So actually that was our entry. So pitchfork touch, one mandatory confirmation, break and retest after two strong impulse candles gave us our that was the break and retest there. It's confirmation 2, and then I suppose we could say, oh yeah, and the cross of the 62. So actually that was a trade. That was a trade. Now I've analyzed it. Now what might happen is it comes back, because I don't know what full move it will do. I sometimes mark things up because I like to see what, it's all learning lesson. So back to there, and then it may carry on up and do that.
Yes.
Or price can only ever do two things. It will want to reverse off there, break and retest, and come back down.
Right.
So that's we're always looking for the same things. So actually,
Sarah, can I just go to the toilet for 2 seconds, please?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Well, I just have to see if we're ready to stay here longer. Back again, Sarah, sorry.
That's all right. So this, the Hull MTFA with bands, the 15-minute band in the background says it's buying.
Yeah.
And the pivots also say it's going up. but it has, these are the pivots.
What is that blue line there? What's that indicate?
The blue line is how the 1 minute 62 EMA would look on the 15-minute chart.
Oh, that's a bit confusing.
Well, it saves us switching to the 15-minute time frame to see if there's what we call confluence. So if you know that the momentum, the 1 minute is the orange, has crossed the 15-minute, this is our current momentum in the market. Therefore, once it's crossed the 15-minute, it's telling you it's buying. And I sometimes get a little bit muddled up drawing this. But
how do I get that line on there then, Sarah? That's actually interesting to know, that is.
What, these two?
So that blue line reflects what's happening in the 5 minute.
You just have to put, in the 1 minute, you just have to put the HPF indicator on. Add that indicator. Oh,
right.
It's called, it's our main one.
Could you tell me, please, the
here,
other?
by B. Willen, this one, Harmonic.
Yes, I've got that,
indicators. Yeah. That's the one we use.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit confused, but I'll go back to my trading view and just work on that tonight.
If I did if I put where the orange line is,
and
if I put on there 62 EMA current momentum, because sitting in the 62 EMA, the 1 minute is like us in the middle of our yacht ploughing through the ocean. So the 15-minute, the hourly, the 4-hourly, the daily are like gentle ripples further out the time frames. So if I'm on my orange yacht, my orange line, and I'm ploughing through, then I'm getting ahead of the 15-minute. I'm driving the market, not the 15 minutes. So if I've crossed above the blue, it's telling you that I'm buying and convert, you know, and vice versa. So if we now go to the 15-minute chart.
Yeah.
Have I done it the right way round? This way I always get muddled up. Hang on, let me put the 15-minute. That's it. Right. So I'm on the 1 minute.
Yeah.
And because I'm the current momentum in the market is the 1 minute, is the orange one.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking I can use this as a confirmation to get one of my confirmations. Remember, I've got to have 2 other confirmations apart from the pitchfork touch to get in for the buy.
Yeah.
The fact it's crossed the 15-minute, which is if we go to the 15-minute, the 62 EMA lines up with the orange on the this is the 15-minute chart.
Yeah.
So this is how the orange line looks on the 15 minutes. So if I come back to the 1 minute, you can see it lines up with the blue. So that's how we are on the longer time frame.
Okay.
And then on the 1 minute, it lines up with the blue. So that orange line in the 15-minute, having crossed the blue, tells you this momentum has now taken over. It's ahead of the blue. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite complicated to write down or even put into words, I suppose. But
well, it took me a while to understand this, and even to be able to teach it to people, I kept saying the wrong thing.
Yes.
But I can understand it now. So it does take, with any of this stuff, it takes 2 or 3 times to settle into the brain, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, yes. Okay. Well, I hope you won't mind me asking again once upon a time.
No,
maybe,
I don't mind. Of course not.
I think I'm nearly there. It looks to me wherever lines cross and wherever lines touch another line, that's where all the action is, and it's about reading which way the action's going, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, it's as simple as that. Absolutely. That
because if I look on that yellow parallel lines that you've set, and you've got the candles bouncing off the center dotted line.
Yeah, the median. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, and if you, I mean, to me, you can see it as a perfect setup, can't you?
Exactly.
But you know now, I'd be looking at that if that's live. I'm saying, well, look, that can't go on much more, can it? You wouldn't enter into anything now apart from a sell, would you?
it depends, because I've got my 20 pips for the day. If I'd got in at that level.
Yeah.
I took off the
That's the next thing, really, where you're talking about pips. You're wanting to set a pip level for the day.
Yes, so if I hadn't done any trading today, and I'd got to my 20 pips, I might say to myself, I'm going to bag those pips because at least I've hit my trade goal, and then I'm only looking for another 5 for the day.
Yeah.
If I had already bagged some pips, then I might say to myself, well, there's 25 to. In fact, I would close out personally, because that gives me my daily goal. But you're waiting just simply for a break and a retest onwards and upwards, or a rejection down. And if it then breaks your trend line and comes below the 62, then you know to get out of the trade. But then you're giving up pips on the way down, and we work to percentages. So if I've made 25 pips in that one trade, quite frankly, I close the trade, particularly at this time of year. Job done for the day. Anything else is a bonus. Because often traders will walk away with nothing because they've been greedy and wanted 100% of the move and not been happy with 70 or 80% of the move.
I get that.
And with pitchforks, you only need to be 70% accurate to make all the money you want to make.
Right.
And as you said, it's rejecting off now. But that is quite strong momentum, but it's getting later in the day. It's the fourth quarter. It's USD CAD. You know, I think it's coming down. You're right, but
that's what my brain says to me straight away. Look, you know,
not necessarily.
No.
GBP JPY has just done the same.
Yeah.
Euro Ward is a very fast pair. It's wicked through, come back down, and just be rejecting off that 62. Euro USD is sunk like a stone, broken straight through everything. I don't know what's gone on the that'll be this news stuff. Yes. GBP news. So the news on the monetary report, 4:30. Oh, that's coming up now, my time. So that's affected the euro, or affecting the euro.
Right. But that can only bounce back up though, can't it?
Well, eventually.
Yes.
But actually, one thing there that gives you the indication that that was a perfect trade, I would have taken that if I'd seen that, is all this stall out for all those hours.
Yes.
It's like a waterfall and below quarter theory. That is a beautiful trade. I would have taken that.
Right.
84 pips, and could have had a stack in a second trade. We can go through that another day at quarter theory.
Yeah. Yeah, it's learning how to stack your losses up against that, isn't it? It's still moving down fast now, isn't it?
Yeah, but I wouldn't get into it now unless it did a break and a retest back there, and I'd let that 62 catch up with it. This is a stacking trade rather than a new.
Yes. This short and long position, Sarah, could you describe that to me?
Long is buy, short is sell. And it's on this slider bar here. So long is buy, or be called a call in HFX, and short is sell or a put in HFX. I don't know why they're called that, but they are. And then what I like to do is I just go into the settings, and I like to put in what my entry price was, what my profit level is.
Right.
And the stop loss, just so that I've got an accurate thing in front of me.
Yeah.
It's just habit. But
what's this one?
Euro USD again.
No, what you were typing in there, I didn't just see that.
Oh, sorry. It's stop level. 100 ticks would be 10 pips. Profit level, 200 ticks is 20 pips. And then I put the entry price in there. I just like to have it sort of there in front of me when I'm.
Yeah.
Whenever, another rule is whenever you get into a trade, think about how you're getting out of a trade. And also, I probably wouldn't have entered this if this was a new trade, because I don't like the fact that I can't cover my quarter three. It's 25 pips away. I don't like that setup.
Right.
So there's little nuances that you'll learn as we go along. And actually, I wouldn't have got into this trade in reality because of its closeness to that GBP news.
Yes.
I don't know. I might have watched it, but I don't know. It's a bit of a tricky one when you get news coming up which you know is going to affect.
Yes. You don't get involved in the news in a positive or a negative way.
Well, we used to trade it with Chance. He did trade the news. It is a specific strategy, but he doesn't. Oh, gold's just plummeted. That's interesting. He doesn't trade the news. It's a specific strategy. Normally, I can't remember which one was. Oh, look, there's that break and retest off quarter theory on USD CAD. It is going up. It's going up. Carrying on up.
Oh, you think that might bounce off there and go live then?
I think that'll carry on up. You've got, because it's a 10 pip break and a retest, that's a perfect entry there. Except of that stop loss, I can't cover the pitchfork, which I don't like. I was just
can't cover the pitchfork. How do you mean that?
Because you want to have your stop loss. These are like brick walls protecting you from being taken out of your trade, because price will always want to cover price will always want to retest the major level. So price will want to come back and test that 62 or test that pitchfork before it takes off again, possibly. So it might be dropping. It's done a 10 pip break and a retest. But this is why we like to have our pitchfork always covered, because if price does a big plummet down, then back up, then we're less likely to be taken out of the trade, because we've got these are protecting us.
Yeah, I see. So you draw your stop loss down past that pitchfork level.
When we're setting up a confirmation for a trade, we like to have our pitchfork covered. And that's a 28 pip stop loss. So I would never be, I'd look for another trade. You know,
it's too large.
I just wouldn't be in a trade. I just wouldn't want to get in a trade like that.
Right, I see. And then that's where you're saying where Chance says 10 pips, is that right, for a stop?
Yes, except for the very fast pairs, the ones that I said are I don't know why it's gone out like that. There, these ones need a 15 pip stop loss, these ones.
Yeah.
Perhaps might be better to put that down like that. That looks a bit neater. I was trying to find where that big swing was. I can't see it now. Can't remember now. Oh, look, it's coming down, as you said. So it did a little spike up, but it's you know, that's why it's good to take the money at the 25 pips.
It's always going to want to somewhere there pull back to somewhere around that 62 AME, is what you're saying.
Well, yes, eventually, but like on things can happen, can't it? Like on this,
yes.
It's right down. It's done a break and a retest. It's still going. So once it's done the break and the retest, and whilst it's to the left of the 62 EMA, then there's no reason to get out of that trade. And a 1 minute trend line, then it'd be looking to go to the next major level possibly, although that does look like it might be breaking it down to that quarter theory.
What does that mean there then? So you've drawn a trend?
Yes, I've drawn this is my trade trend. Once you're in the trend, at least 3 touches. Don't ever put it on current price, because current price is still moving.
Yeah.
So I could put it there or there or there, but that's very tight. But for the sake of argument,
whereabouts are you looking to put it? Just somewhere in the average price?
It is a bit subjective. You can put it tight or further out, as long as it's not on current price. Yeah. So our rule is that if say I've been in this trade and I've made something like 50, 70, 80 pips now, which would be like 1 to 8 return, which is just phenomenal. Then break and a retest, and I'm thinking, oh, I think I'll be greedy, see if I can get another whatever pips it is down to the next major level. Number one, why would I do that after such a fast, phenomenal return? And number two, it's now broken the 1 minute trend line. Once it's done that, then hang on, I'm going to sneeze.
It's funny how they disappear, isn't it?
No, I did sneeze. I turned the microphone off. I thought.
Oh, did you?
I thought I'd spare you. Then it could be on its way back up to test the 62. It could have finished its current run back up to quarter theory, and at that point you will have given up. Let's say we did get in there, for argument's sake.
Oh, that's where you get that pip mover thing, that counter thing. I see.
Yeah, so if I'm up 76, 80 pips, which is phenomenal in anyone's book.
Yes.
So say we got in there just as it dropped off the cliff. 75 pips. So I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to be greedy. See if I can get it down to 95 pips.
Right.
Number one, why would I want to? Because then it starts, you've got this way you have to make decisions. Starts to retrace to 65. And then I'm thinking, oh, do you know what? I think I'll stay and it might go down again. Then it's back to 45. So you're back to 1 to 4.5 return on your money. Because your stop loss is your profit regulator.
Yes, I'm into that.
And once you start understanding percentages and the power of compounding your account, and understand how ridiculous it is that people just say, oh, I've got some pips today, I've grabbed 10 pips. I used to be in a group where they used to have the 10 pip a day club. It's completely ridiculous, because this is the power of growing your money to once you focus on percentages.
Yes.
So number one, don't be greedy. Get out the trade at 1 to 8. And you, quite frankly, you've done 3 days work and you needn't do any more for 3 days. Because if you end up giving up more than 50% of your, never give up more than 50% of your profit is what Chance says. So 50%, 75 would be 37.5. So once you're up to this sort of level, you've then given up 50% because you think, oh, it's going to come up here. It's going to come up here, do that, and I'm going to see if I can stay in down to there. So for all that worry and angst and giving up real money that you've left on the table, just for the sake of pushing
it's not worth it.
75 to 95 when you've done phenomenally well, it's not worth it. Just not worth it. And this is the kind of thing, and I can tell you time and time again, I've been in a trade, or conversely, I've run my stop profit too tight. I've been whacked out of EN for 12 pips, and then it's gone on to do 70. So some of it's a bit of fine tuning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you've got to be, you know, it is a game of chance, isn't it?
Well, it's a game of calculation and refinement, and sometimes the market will whack you in the face. The market will do what the market will do, but we can minimize our risk. And that's the beauty of pitchforks, because as Chance said, there is no other strategy that exists that will give you such a fantastic return on your investment. The power of this is phenomenal.
I've been watching it for I've been watching it closely for 6 months, and I've known enough about it for a little while, and I get into them pitchforks. I like it.
Yeah, I love that. Once I'd found the pitchforks, I thought, you know, it was worth all the pain of what I went through to find them. I'm just going to save that.
It's all the pain to get there.
And I'm going to stop the recording now. Trading. Just going to save that. And currency pairs and sessions. Stop the share. Okay.